3, 2, 1, go.
Hello everyone, I'm RandomPinkBunny and I have here with me a Catarav.
That is me. You may have heard me for the previous 3 hours or something.
Yes, he is contracted to do so many hours of this
Yes.
marathon. So
I may or may not get paid for it, Adam. Not disclosing that.
Alrighty. So I'm gonna start. I'll give a countdown for Heki. On go, we'll go. So in 3, 2, 1, bam. Go.
Good luck.
Thanks.
So do you want me to take over straight away?
Yeah.
All right.
This is already great.
Yeah. Just interrupt me whenever you need some
Yeah.
focus time. Yeah, so as I mentioned earlier in my Underworld run, the previous 2 games in this series, which is Legend and Anniversary, they have a very exploitable engine, and one main glitch that you can do is the airwalk, which you saw there shortly. You also, at this point, probably saw Bunny skip the waterfall by using a rope swing. So usually you're supposed to do some climbing stuff and shimmying stuff to get past this waterfall, but why do that when you cannot do that?
The boulder hit me. I'm so sad.
That's okay.
That's okay, I have backups.
Right. So yeah, the airwalk glitch, because you will see that quite a lot. So basically, whenever Lara stumbles on a ledge, if you pull out your weapons while she's in that animation, and you keep pressing at least one movement key, so you keep on like being in motion, your height at which you're walking will not change, even if you have nothing underneath you. So that is really cool, but you cannot change height by yourself. For that, we need to use level geometry. So whenever there's a slanted surface and you run against it, you will gain height or lose height depending on which direction that surface is slanted towards. And as you may expect, that enables us to basically bypass, would say, all of the major puzzles and a lot of triggers, like the one right here. So you can see Bunny will go, or maybe at this point is already out of bounds.
I'm
she will have
triggering
to
the
load,
loading level. Yeah.
She will still have to load the next part of the level. So even though we can basically go anywhere we want, we still need to load the levels we want to go through to also have the triggers enabled that allow us to further trigger stuff.
So like right here, I'm popping in for 2 seconds to just load the rest of the level.
Exactly. And in this next room, we have some really important puzzle hints showing you what to do and what not to do, but we don't care because we can airwalk. Turns out underneath one of these giant cocks on the side, there is not the best of collision, and we can go out of bounds there.
Right.
And previously you saw in that flyby cutscene a gate closing down, which there is a QT supposed to happen once you go through that gate. And if it works out, Bunny should be able to load the next part of the level without hitting the QT, but even if she hits it, it doesn't matter too much. It's just a few seconds.
Nope, I never hit that. I refuse. I do not do more QTEs than is necessary.
I'm sorry,
it's
just
part of my contract.
Trying to cover all the bases. But yeah, there in the corridor, if she had gone too far into that corridor, she would have been back inbounds and would have do the QT. But as she correctly pointed out, no way, Jose. So now we're approaching the end of the first level, which by the way is in Bolivia. Here she will encounter a few grunts shooting at her, and the objective is to take out all of them, which is the first big instance of RNG. So if they behave, they will basically all assemble to the central part. You can just take them out at your leisure. If they don't behave, they run around and hide, and yeah, not nice.
There you are.
You can also see they drop weapons. So in this game, enemies drop weapons. You start out with your classic dual pistols. These guys drop assault rifles. There will be a lot more weapons in the later levels, but we don't really use too many more. Just one more. Well, 2, technically. But yeah, that's Bolivia. Next up, we're in Peru. And Peru as the first of 2 bike segments, which is what most people remember this game for, and which you will also remember this game for when you speedrun, because they're absolutely terrible.
There's something else for sure.
Yeah, you saw Bunny take quite the shortcut there, and you saw, maybe you remember, or you remember now, she rolled against a building and it dipped her upwards. So the left roll is kind of weird if you play with V-Sync off. It allows you to zip up certain obstacles, and that allowed us to bypass the third part. She also made sure to collect at least 1 grenade, which...
I think I only have 1.
Yeah, that's okay, you'll get... But yeah, more on that later. We're now in the bike segment. And bike segments are really cool. I mean, this one kind of is, because at least you have good music. But the objective, it's kind of a pseudo auto-scroller, except not. So you have parts that are you just have to drive through and hit the level end. Then there are parts where enemies will spawn, and you have to kill a certain amount of enemies for the next group to spawn, and so on, until you have gone through all of the enemies. And once all of them are dead, you can continue on. So actually, you kind of want to kill them obviously as early as possible. Damage with the pistols is range-based, so the closer you are to your enemy, the better, because the more damage you do, the faster they die. And in this level, there are also propane tanks that spawn at random. Well, the position they can spawn are predetermined, but it's not whether they spawn or not. So if you're lucky, you can get some pretty nice spawns. And if enemies are next to them when they explode, then they are one-shot. Usually, you're not lucky. Here you can see the first type of enemies, which are just your normal grunts. Later on, we will get guys in white shirts. Those have shotguns, but it doesn't really matter too much. They're basically just the same. At least for us, in this difficulty level, it's easy, so you don't take too much damage. It doesn't matter. In the harder difficulties, these bike segments actually can be somewhat of an issue, especially if you miss some of the medkit pickups. And physics are really entertaining sometimes. So you can have runs drive through rocks, you can have runs kill themselves, you have runs driving into each other, and bikes flying all around.
I can't tell you how many times a guy has come up behind Lara and crashed his bike into hers and died.
Yeah, yeah, it's pretty interesting. So yeah, and that was the first part with enemies. And now we will get to the burning bridge, and after that, more enemies. And yeah, so this is, as I said, the first bike segment. We will have another one later in the run, which will be longer and much worse. So I hope you enjoy this one, because I'm sure the next one will be some...
I had some new people watching this run the other day, and they were really concerned that Kazakhstan is as long as it is. I quote them, "It's still going." Yeah, that's a fun level. You'll see soon.
Exactly. So we're still in Peru, and Peru is basically split into 3 parts. So this is the first part in present day. Soon Lara will arrive at a digging site, and then we will have a flashback segment with a young Lara. There she will not have access to her weapons or grenades or anything like that, so that will be kind of a change. And after that's done, which is a rather short segment, we go back into present day and finish up the rest of the level. But I think we're approaching the end of the enemy here. Yes.
We're gonna look at this amazing backdrop.
Yeah.
It looks beautiful. It's real.
Yes, you can go there. This is an open world game. So this is a game came out in 2006. So you can determine whether it held up well or not. I'm not going to judge. I was asked to refrain from sharing my opinion on this game and its speedrun. I will try to remain neutral as is expected. So yeah, after those guys are dead, you can board the truck, and after this cutscene, we're now playing as young Lara. As I said, no weapons, and that means generally no real way to initiate an airwalk. But what we do have are flares. And an unlimited amount of flares, in fact. And flares let you airwalk, aka flare walk. Only problem with those is they run out after a few seconds. So all of our flare walks are limited when it comes to the amount of time we're in the air. But turns out that for all of the airwalks we need to do, it's just the right amount of time we get. And yeah, you can already see Bunny bypassing quite a few puzzle seconds with the flare walk. And soon we will have a first, or actually the second of these interactive cutscene kind of runaway segments. The first one was still in Bolivia when we ran away from the helicopter. This one we ran away from the monster. Goodbye, Kent.
And believe it or not, playing this casually for this section that we're coming up to, I didn't realize we were playing it right away, so yes. I died like 3 times and was like, what's going on?
Yes, so there's an icon in the lower left, or lower right, sorry, of the screen, which shows you like Lara holding out her guns, which is supposed to tell you that you can move now, but nobody ever really tells you, so yeah. That's the normal first experience, you just die.
Yeah,
well, but yeah, the camera is fixed there. Game. It's supposed to show the point of view of the monster, so controls are relative to that camera, so it's also a bit weird. And we're actually already coming at the end of flashback segment.
Oh, so, I made it. Okay.
Back
I mean, of course I made it.
Yes. Yes. I mean, clearly. No worries. So yeah, that was flashback. Now we are back to grown-up Lara with grown-up weapon and grown-up swimming segment, because those are always exciting, as we saw in the previous reruns. So in Anniversary and Legend, you can tap the action key or E key to swim faster. That's pretty much all the movement tech you get. So yeah.
Believe it or not, because rolling is a shift, I'm constantly confused as to what makes me go faster when I swim.
Then actually I also have it on shift and action on E. I can feel you. But yeah, you can see Bunny went up to catch some breath there.
I'm not hardcore. I keep her alive.
You can actually, if you have a good line, you can keep staying on water and will take some damage, but you can counter heal with med packs, because that makes sense, right? If you're suffocating, just put on a band-aid and you're good. So after hitting all of those switches, the water will lower and we can continue on. And we need to go up some slippery slopes, which would be a problem if we would touch them. But if you airwalk, you're not considered to be touching them, so you can just airwalk up those slopes and bypass another QTE. All those nice QTEs which are not getting triggered. So sad.
Heck yeah, doing my job then.
And up next is the boulder puzzle. So we have
Did I get it? There we go. So because I have 1 grenade and this is a marathon, I'm getting the save point for safe seas.
Mm-hmm. So we have 3 pressure plates and in total 3 boulders. All boulders, of course, need to pressure down those pressure plate. One of the boulders, however, is up on a statue on the right, and we want to get that down there without having to go up.
I sacrificed getting both balls in at once just because I wasn't sure if it was gonna work.
Gonna be quiet.
Okay, let's hope. Perfect.
Did you get it? Nice. So yeah.
First try every time.
That's why we got a grenade at the start of Peru. You can lob a grenade up there. And it's a pretty precise throw, actually. If you are off, like if you don't throw it far enough or high enough or too low, it will bounce away from the boulder and doesn't land behind it where you want it to land, so it can launch down the boulder. With that, we can skip climbing up that statue, and yeah. More cutscenes to be skipped, and then we have to escape this place. And we're supposed to like climb around a lot and ropes and whatnot, but we can also airwalk, and that helps. And Heki says he added Guardian of Light, so I hope you're ready for that.
I suppose I'll have to take the high road back.
Gotta have all the fun, you know.
What is this Tompathon? I mean, what?
This is totally Tompathon.
So, yeah,
Because
with,
before there
Airwolf-
was Nathan Drake, there was Lara.
Exactly. And Uncharted is just male Tomb Raider or something like that.
Okay. Wow, they tried to get me. So, the plot of this game consists of Lara looking for her friend, Lara looking for her mom, Lara putting together a puzzle, like with actual puzzle pieces. It gets to be really intriguing. Am I right, Caddy? Okay. Right? Okay. Thought I killed you, but it's fine. Hello. There you are. Are you coming down? Are you okay, good sir? I'm concerned. Okay, we got you. It's fine.
Have you still got an eye on the other line?
You got pretty stuck up there.
Someone's coming.
It's fine, it's fine. This is okay. This guy, I know we can just pull down and have a grand old time with him. Alright, so, like I said, Lara's putting together, like, a puzzle, and, we find out that, this dude named Mr. Takamoto has a puzzle piece to our puzzle. So we're gonna visit our friend Nishimura, who's putting on a party so that we can talk to Mr. Takamoto about getting our sword piece. Lara wears a fancy outfit, probably in hopes to seduce him. But Mr. Takamoto has other plans. So Lara got all ready for nothing.
Was I not audible, or what was the issue?
I don't know if you muted yourself by accident or something.
I don't know, I didn't. I saw myself, like my icon light up in Discord, but yours didn't, so I don't know, whatever.
Oh, there's a disturbance in the forest.
Missed out on my sick play-by-play commentary.
Yes. Hope you enjoyed it while it lasted.
Anyways.
This is not going to plan.
That's okay. Yeah, here, some ground spawn. You can actually prevent further spawn if you're down in the hallway already, but you know, it saves a few seconds.
These guys just moved randomly. I don't know. Didn't work out. I tried. Jesus.
Yeah, I assume you... Yeah, I heard you talk about Takamoto, so you probably talked about the premise of this level. As you might expect, there will be some airwalking going on, so much so that we bypass really big chunks of the level, because luckily they placed like two bigger parts of the level right next to each other and just separated them by a big gap, which we can cross with airwalking, so that's yet another QTE skipped. Like, what the heck?
I actually like this part because they're like, oh, you're gonna have to do something creative to get across. I'm like, yes.
This is going to require some creativity.
Yeah,
Just gonna airwalk.
some of Laura's comments actually line up really nicely with the speedrun. Like here she said this is going to require some creativity, and I guess, yeah, it works out. There are more instances of that later on. And yeah, next room, we have to tear down a big monitor to access the next part of the level.
I'm telling you, Lara can simply not... oh, I can't do it this far away. Can't run around in heels, so, you know.
So, yeah, the enemies here can really be annoying because they can interrupt you. These are shotguns, and shotguns deal knockback damage. And that's annoying. Just like the camera.
The camera is the best feature of this game, hands down.
Yeah, so now we can access the next part.
What a lovely evening to be outside.
And we can
Lara
actually...
gets her parkour on.
Yes. You can clip through doors if they have like loading triggers behind them. You hit the loading trigger with a backwards handspring, so you don't have to open the door. And now, climbing. Which is fun, I guess. We can use the rifle to shoot down some of the platforms, so we don't have to grapple them later on. And that's about all of the movement tech you will get. I mean, you can get some airwalks of these things, but you know, nothing major here. Just go up.
Yeah.
And approach the last part of Japan already, because as you may expect, we do skip quite a few things.
Yeah, Mr. Takamoto didn't show up to give us his puzzle piece, so we have to go get it from him.
Have to ask him politely to
Yes.
give it to you.
I'll try my best to keep my chin up. But
Oh
I
my
do
god.
need to
Okay, good, she did it.
if you don't mind.
I haven't mastered airwalking there, so she just runs along the billboard instead, and it's
Oh
fine.
my god. That jump was nice.
I'm really good at
Good
landing on it as opposed to airwalking on it, so it's fine.
I meant
Make it work.
to the platform with the whatever. Doesn't matter. So yeah,
Oh yeah,
approaching
that, yeah.
yeah, the auto aim thing.
I'm really good at saving myself, it's fine.
Yeah, so we shoot down the chandelier to kill some guys and get a shotgun if possible. Sometimes it lands way out of reach, so you don't get it. And it also alerts, or usually at least alerts, another grunt in the hallway, which would open, or who would open the door for us, but it didn't in this case because consistent game. And then we have to break open the entrance to Takamoto, who's hiding.
Catching.
And we need to get to the elevator, and the elevator is behind a glass
Lara,
window
please.
and glass bricks, allegedly. Like this.
Sorry, I just like to collect ammo. It's a hobby of mine.
That's okay. I'm not stopping.
Okay,
You have to shut down. Yeah, 20,
I'm gonna start
25
crying now.
shotgun shells should be. So yeah, Takamoto boss fight. You basically want to stun lock him with your grappling hook. So whenever you throw the grappling hook at him, he gets interrupted. But you can't just smash it. He will resist it. And he takes a lot of damage from grenades.
Oh, he ran away.
So what you want to do with the grappling hook? Yeah, you saw there he just completely ignored it. You want to stop him from running away because the gist of this fight is that he runs away and spams sword attacks or stuff attacks. And he also likes to be really close to the edge, so your grenades tend to drop down onto the floor instead of staying up there.
Yeah.
But you can see he already took a lot of damage from those. And he also likes to run away a lot, but that's Japan.
Yeah.
Where are we going to next time?
We're going on vacation. Some nice tropical place, waterfalls everywhere.
That's not
Nice.
so peculiar. It happens occasionally.
So
I
this
can
is
airwalk. Oh my God.
Ghana. And Ghana they had a really nice idea of separating two big chunks by a big gap in between. I wonder how we will solve this problem. But yeah,
Look at how
this...
gorgeous it is. Okay.
So that will be quite fun with full damage. Cancel.
I know, right? Perfect. Just like Caddy.
Is that supposed to be a compliment or not?
I just said perfect, didn't I? Wow.
But yeah, when you drop down there, it would usually be too much of a height. So we need to have a certain height to bypass a cutscene and to like go over the invisible walls. But if you drop down without canceling the fall damage, you will die. Luckily, there is a fall damage cancel. Fall damage cancel in this game. There are actually multiple ones, but there's a very easy one where you switch weapons and can use your grappling hook to reset the fall damage. So if you do it close enough to the ground, you don't get any. And that lets us basically access a part that we are supposed to only get access to way later on, which makes Ghana one of the shortest levels in the run, which is great because we're already coming up on the next boss fight, which is Rotland. And since it's a boss fight, I heard grenades are really powerful. That is, if he
Faith,
cooperates
please,
and
no.
doesn't get stuck on the furniture.
Furniture, is that what you call it?
Yeah. So this is just like Takamoto, except that he actually like gets thrown around whenever he gets hit by a grenade. So the aim is to have him drop down, drop into a grenade, and then just have him die. Like
Perfect.
this.
Also, thanks, Heki. I like my emotes.
Or those without parachutes.
So now we're going back into the motherland. I mean, what? So this is Kazakhstan. We mentioned this earlier in conjunction with bike segments, so you know what to expect. But first we're gonna skip quite a big part of running through this installation, talking to stuff and guys and collecting things. I don't know, I haven't done this in like 5 years, so
Oh,
because
you
I know
know,
this
they're
part.
just innocent people trying to feed their families, working
exactly.
for evil corporations. You know,
Max
we don't need to kill them.
pacifist %.
Perfect. Oh,
So
lag.
obviously we're still quite high up, so we need to all damage cancel down. Oh my god, nice.
Oh my baby! I did
That
great.
was nice. And yeah, so we had to get that checkpoint there to enable a trigger that will let us go to the next part of the level. We could just go over here, but then we wouldn't be able to access the next part.
Guy had
What
a
did I-
best death cry.
Oh, I can't hear that, I have to stream. But yeah, you need to kill 2 guys over here, and then the gate opens up, and you get access to the bike, and the fun begins again, except without good music.
Reminder, this Kazakhstan is the shortest level of the game.
Is this still going on?
This is, I think, definitely where RNG bikes come into play.
Yes. So this level is kind of split into 3 parts. First part, same as in blue, some of the guys on bikes assaulting you. It's like exact same principles apply. You want to be close to deal more damage, and you want to kill them as fast as possible to make the next group spawn. After all enemies are gone, we go to the second part, which is kind of an intermission part, without enemies, just pure driving. And then the third part, will have some new enemies, which are absolutely terrible. And again, you hope for good propane tank spawns, because those one-shot, but usually you don't get.
Yeah. I don't get good propane tanks in this level.
Yeah, and usually if you get spawns, then the enemies make sure to drive as far away from them as possible, so you don't get to use them. Very nice.
That guy cut me off.
So, in the third part that I mentioned, we will have some runs on jeeps, and they take more damage until they're gone. And the thing is that they're situated on the right side of the jeep. So if you approach them from the left, you usually hit the car and not the guy, and the enemy is only defeated if you kill the guy. You can shoot the car as much as you
He's
want.
clearly driving the car or something.
Yes.
I don't know.
The guy inside just gives up once that guy's dead. Just goes home. Yeah, so the ideal or better way to approach this is to approach him from the right. But you will see probably that they also behave quite strangely from time to time.
Like every time?
Yes.
Oh, it's beautiful.
by
You guys will
sometimes
see some great
every-
stuff.
So don't be surprised by enemies driving through rocks and into each other. And if you're really lucky, they can actually drive into propane tanks and take themselves out. We'll see.
Sometimes though they can bully Lara and push her into things, and
Yes,
it's rude.
exactly. There you have your cheats. So for jeeps, it's really helpful to have propane tanks since they usually take more shots.
Yeah.
You can also see that sometimes the next group spawns like rather slowly. That's another form of RNG. So, yeah, not the best, or not the most consistent part to run, let's say.
It's fine. What are you talking about? Beautiful.
Yeah.
Wow, everybody, get in line. These guys aren't wearing helmets, which I would love to remind you guys that wearing helmets is a safety feature, and if you're not safe, you could perish. Just like that guy. He fell off his bike, he did not live.
Because clearly Lara is wearing a helmet.
Hers is, clear?
She has plot armor.
Yeah.
Yeah, there you see some more jeeps driving against each other and flipping through rocks and driving sideways. And yeah,
Yeah.
sure.
They're not flying yet, it doesn't count.
Yes. And yeah, the last group of enemies will have 3 jeeps. We know that we're at least approaching the final part.
Oh my
The
god,
final part-
Lara. Please just kill them all.
And you may be wondering, look at the HUD, you have 4 grenades, why don't you just throw those? And then you realize you can't, because it's just there for decoration, I don't know.
I like to try to change my weapons up.
Yeah. So yeah, after this last group, we just need to board the train now. And by boarding, I mean we need to jump onto a pre-designed or pre-designated part. And for that to do, we need to jump across some slopes, and the camera can get really interesting there. Which is great, because if you fail this, you get sent back to the last checkpoint, which
know,
is quite a
right?
bit away.
What a party. Alright.
Nice.
We just gotta be careful that Lara doesn't fall into the cracks with her
Yes.
motorcycle. And we're fine. And I know all of you Mirror's Edge fans saw the train and got excited. Let me tell you, this is the Mirror's Edge segment.
Because finally cut QTEs. Yay. So
One
in
of
this
2
game,
QTEs.
two,
Yeah?
yes. That's less than an anniversary. Anyway, so in this game, QTEs, you always have the same inputs, but additionally, you can also mash the keys way before they pop up, so you will always basically get the earliest possible input, which makes the QTEs somewhat redundant. In the next game, Anniversary, at least, you do not get, like if you mash before the input appears, even if you have the correct key, you will still get the death, so that actually makes QTEs very skill-based there, but here you can just mash if you remember them.
We are no longer Faith because Lara crashed the train. This is fine.
And now we're heading into the lab because reasons, and airwalk is so nice.
Shoutouts to Flux for helping me with that.
At Flux Monkey.
It is much colder in here than it was outside.
So yeah, more gaps which you're supposed to cross with ropes and I don't know what kind of equipment, but airwalking works.
Where am I? Okay. I never know where I'm going in this maze. I just run into all the walls.
The heater must be one of them.
Oh. Lara had me scared for a second.
Lara always has me scared when I run this
She's only
game.
found the emergency power.
So yeah, here you're supposed to like fill up some fuel tank and blah blah, but you can also just hit the trigger behind the door by backup transferring into it, so that works. And then we proceed further down this corridor. And yeah, so there is some poisonous gas you can see there in the corridors. And that deals quite a lot of damage. And also damage depending on your FPS. So if you want to really see some damage, you want to crank up your FPS. But hopefully we don't really, we won't get to see that.
Okay. I'm having a moment. Don't worry about it, guys.
Yeah, it's fine. So we want to be at a certain height here, or above a certain height rather, because there is some electrical wires here that you have to avoid, and some more like obstructions. And then we get to the boss fight. And the boss fight consists of pulling 4 levers and shooting a big gun at 4 orbs.
It's like a science experiment more than anything, and then you get a puzzle piece at the end.
No Heki, but I'm just watching the normal stream, it's fine.
He dreams about this run all the time.
Yeah,
He knows it back to back.
We have a special connection. So you can actually attack the boss here, but you'll just heal up after a certain amount of damage. Doesn't help you at all, so you're better off just activating the machine. Get out of here. So now we need to shoot these 4 orbs and then grapple the central item. Is he bothered?
He's rude.
I thought so.
Wouldn't let me get in my ship.
Thank you, Heki.
Well, can you grapple that, Lara? Oh, grapple the thing. What are you doing? Oh no.
Sounds interesting.
It's not going well anymore. I have to do it again. Oh, rude. Get off the ship. It's not even a ship, it's a gunning thing. It's fine. Okay, we're fine. Okay, England, go.
England, right. So England is pretty much like considered by everyone who runs this game to be the most technical level, and there are quite a few finicky skips we do here. Some pretty tight airwalks, and a very difficult QT. So here we want to bypass the first set of doors.
I hit the thing, don't worry about it.
You hit the thing. Oh, yeah,
I
that's
hit
okay.
the door.
So yeah, for this door you need to be at a rather specific height. If you're too high, you cannot like go past the first archway, and if you are too low, you cannot go over the door. So we have some setups to get in the correct height.
Okay.
Then
I'm
for this
second
door-
guessing everything now.
Yeah, no, this one looks really sketchy. Usually a bit. You can just jump over it. Which leads us to the forklift. And the forklift has some really responsive and good controls.
Lara decides she wants to be construction worker. I'm on top of this, guys. This lingo.
So he's actually really short second. You just need the forklift to raise this gate and break through the final part of the wall at the end here.
QTE. Hi.
Then a hype QTE. Hope you can get it.
If you guys get bored, you can watch it again. Hope someone made a clip.
Nice first try, QT.
Thanks.
So here you're supposed to like have a rather long descent down this room, but we can actually grab rather that ledge down there with a fall damage cancel, and that bypasses all of that. I'll be quiet if you need some focus here.
No, it's good.
No, I'm quiet. Just tell me once you're on top of the slip.
certainly hope so.
Ooh. Oh my. Oh my. I lost control. There we go. Alright, yeah, you can keep talking now.
Okay. So we had to first load the later part of this level next to some spinning wheels or some blades. There we go. Which, if you're too close to those, they knock you out of the airwalk, which is no good. And then we had to go back inbounds on this corridor or tunnel, and that's like at a pretty bad height. So we need to get in there with a backwards handspring, which is a bit counterintuitive since we're approaching with forward rolls. And then you can actually like already reach the final part of the level, because that part you're only supposed to reach after a boss fight, and a boss fight which, by the way, can easily soft lock, and so it's good that we can bypass that. And now we just need to escape this part.
He killed me.
Oh, we're in the fire. Yeah. It's just a box. Yeah, that's okay. So yeah, here, as you can see, fire is lethal. These guys can knock you out of the air, and they're well above them. And yeah, we're basically just backtracking to where we got the forklift. Now there's an elevator here. And yeah. Again, we need to clear out the 2 enemies at the very end.
Excuse me, you.
What did I do?
This is me being fancy, don't mind me. I don't want to hit the doggos, so I just go over them instead.
You can get knocked out of the air.
Excuse
Anyways,
me?
so yeah,
Did
Lara's...
I get knocked out of the air?
If Lara does a forward roll and rolls into an enemy, they can get quite the fabulous spinning animation, including the doggos. So sadly we didn't get to see that, but it's pretty nice.
Yeah.
And that brings us to Nepal, which is also a very short level, because we can bypass the entire first part where you're supposed to climb up a mountain. Because why climb up a mountain when you can airwalk up a mountain and then fall damage cancel down on the other side? So luckily there is like this long slope that is pointing upwards. We can just abuse to gain a lot of height and completely ignore this part. And then, as I said, we have a fall damage cancel to get down on the other side, which is also rather precise. Well, shut up.
Alrighty. Oops. There goes my camera. That's fine.
Something like that.
1, 2, 3, 4. Bam. Grab that checkpoint for fun. Yeah. First try every time.
Easy. So yeah, that fall damage cancel is probably the worst out of all the ones we do, at least for me, because you have like obstructed view at the part where you would need to see where Lara is. So you need to fall damage cancel obviously before you hit the ground. But just before you hit the ground, you have like the ice tunnel blocking your view. And that is kind of bad. But with some practice, you can get down a timing to kind of guess where Lara is. And then we get some height, because on the left side, they left open some small passageway for us, obviously intended, otherwise it wouldn't be that easy.
I'm being super cautious here.
No worries. And then you can proceed to already the final part of the level. While keeping your airwalk and while staying out of bounds, you can go back in bounds there by accident, but like it loses you 5 to 10 seconds, so it's not the end of the world. And in this part we actually access the final chamber by, for once, not going over stuff, but going underneath stuff, because it turns out underneath the final platform you can also clip inbound. So that's why we go underneath.
Do you see what I see?
Nothing.
I see Faith. Goodbye, Faith.
Nice.
Alright, so Lara has all her puzzle pieces together, and she put it together and made a sword.
Yes.
Alright.
Nice Lego.
Yeah.
And now she has Excalibur. And Excalibur is really strong and one-shots everything except the final one. And yeah, now we just have to get out of here and into the final boss fight, which takes place in Bolivia, where we were earlier. And the final boss fight is split into 2 segments. The first one you just clear out some grunts. As I said, they're all one-shot, so you basically just mash your Excalibur projectile a lot and hope they behave. And in the second one, you will fight the final boss.
Lara, what are you aiming at? Okay.
Whatever. Just
She does what she wants.
yeah. Just Excalibur. Yes, sorry, Spaz. Of course, it's coincidence. You can tell I'm a speedrunner and don't care for lore. I mean,
I always forget what it's called, so I just call it coincidence.
yeah, this is the final boss, and it has 4
Oh my
phases.
god, the bullying.
You always have to drain 50% of HP, then it's knocked down, then you stab it for 25% more damage, and then it regenerates 50%.
What is going on with this?
And as you can tell, it's a very consistent fight and definitely not killing any runs ever.
What is going on? She's only landing 1 hit. I need my money back for this sword. It's not worth it.
Bring it back. Maybe you can still like get your money.
Okay.
You
Perfect.
see 50% down. It's knocked down. Stab it. Poke it. Back.
Oh, that was rude. How dare you move while I'm trying to kill you?
So if you're really unlucky, the boss actually has a pretty nice 3-hit combo, and the final hit of that combo can send you quite a way back. And if you're near the ledge, you will fall down without Laura being able to grab the ledge. And then you start again at the start of the second phase, which is not nice. But yeah, we are actually coming up on time, but you probably want to call that since I have delay.
Yeah, I have to do 1 more round because she's being rude. Oh god. Please stop. Cease and desist. Okay, here we go. Here we go. And time. There we go.
GG.
Well, we made it through that.
That was pretty nice.
Yeah, thanks so much for rambling while I tried to be good at the game.
Thank you for preventing me from running this game. That's always good. The less I have to run is the better. I mean, what?
That's why
Love reflux
when I
and
asked
what?
Caddy, hey, what game should I learn next? He said, play Legend. Thanks.
Excuse me.
No, really, it is Caddy who got me into this run, so shout outs to him.
Shoutouts to Bunny for not listening to me and actually running this.
It's a great idea. I did runs of Titanic. Arthur Blues was like, what are you doing? Alright. We'll end it on the best line of the whole game, and then we'll switch over.
Yeah, I hope you
So-
enjoy some Shakespearean acting. And the next we have Elsie Gold, right?
Yeah. I'll let
Good
Hecky
idea.
know when he can switch to intermission, though. After all, we haven't really had much interaction with Amanda this whole game.
Right. So yeah, if you generally are interested in any of the Tomb Raider speedruns, Tomb Runner Discord you can find on speedrun.com on any of the games. You can message any one of us. And yeah, thanks again for having me.
Who are you? Mother? It's Laura, your daughter. What about my daughter? Don't touch the sword! She meant no harm.
There's Amanda.
Take out the sword!
Look at her being evil.
No! Mother! Mother, listen to me! It'll explode unless you pull out the sword! Oh God!
Obligatory exploding behind Laura as she's running moment.
You ruined everything! All these years I blamed myself, and it was you! You killed her! Killed her? She's not dead! She went where I was supposed to go, where you could have gone! Makes sense right this
Here we
second,
go.
or I swear I'll execute you where you stand! I told you to pull out the sword, I told you! Where is my mother? Avalon!
Perfect. All right, Hecky, you can transition over whenever your heart desires. Thanks for having me.